Welcome. Ugh, already starting off on the wrong foot. This show's going to be just perfect. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Porto. Joining me is Marcus Green. Marcus, the glorious one, how the heck are you?
Oh, good. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, to all the lonely hearts out there, side chicks, what have you. Whatever.
Happy Valentine's Day out there as well to everyone who has herpes. Because I feel like they had too much love at one point in their life. Now they got a little bit less love. And now we need to give them a little bit more love.
Looking at some of these commercials, I'm thinking like, what are the good commercials when we have when we're parents? Because it's like now it's like, make your herpes happy. Like what? Like what are you doing? Like.
With the brand new Etch Your Herpes. Draw incredible patterns on your herpes warts today. The burning kills, but at least it looks like a kitty cat now.
Have HPV, but with a smile. I'm like, what?
I'm going to lose my uterus to this cancer that's spreading from the HPV, but I'm sure happy. STDs are no fucking joke, man. But I'm going to make jokes about them. Tell you what. Yeah, there's no such thing as a good STD. You know, like the number one thing that happens with herpes isn't the inflammation around the groinal region. It's inflammation and an outbreak inside of your throat. When I read that in high school, I was like, no thank you, sir. You will be using a dental dam. I do not care what you say.
I'm like, what was the commercials for them? Get up, go to college. You ain't doing nothing with your life. Like, what was them commercials for? What was the name of it?
The like Education Connection. Is that
something like that? Like, get up, get up. You ain't doing nothing with your life. Go to college. I forgot the exact name of those commercials, but that's what it feels like for the like the STD commercials now. Like, get up, you got this STD, but it doesn't have to be bad. Then you show them running through a field after they done took the meds. It's like, look, I appreciate the narrative, but like, come on.
Take this HIV preventative medication. That sounds like a great idea. What are the symptoms, or like what are the side effects? Oh, everything terrible. It's
like,
slightly better than actually having HIV, but only slightly.
Took something for what can be deemed a mild concussion, and one of the side effects is potential anal leakage. What is that? What? Like, I'll take a nap on a concussion, but anal leakage?
I already have anal leakage. Take this medication. What are the side effects? Anal leakage. So you're saying it really doesn't work? 9 out of 10 times it does. Not. And why are they marketing all this stuff? That's the thing that boggles my mind. None of it can be bought over the counter. like, just fucking imagine that. Like, you have to go to a doctor, and the doctor has to prescribe you the medication off of his recommendation. So who are they making these fucking commercials for? It ain't us. Like, it's different if it's like Advil or like, you know, sinus, cold, and flu nonsense. But like these hardcore drugs that they market all need a prescription. It's ridiculous. And they all cost like $1,000 a pill. Fuck. The drug industry is a fucking sham. I'll tell you that much. Speaking of shams, Impact is just pissing me off. They're really gunning down this whole idea of Matt Cardona being a champion and W. Morrissey being in title scenes, and they can't re-sign anyone for more than 6 fucking months, apparently. Because our first story is Josh Alexander's Impact contract is up, which explains why he was sent home at the last episode of Impact. Because they literally cannot use him anymore. Not only is his Impact contract up, but his American visa has expired, so he has to go back to Canada. Oh, Canada. So, Marcus, I feel like we're having the same conversation we had with Johnny Morrison or Mundo or whatever his name is. Brian Cage, Pentagon. Here's another dude Austin Aries, who got the belt, and then 22 skidooed on out of here.
I'm like I've literally not even tuned into Impact since what Hard to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm behind, but I feel like I've not missed much, unfortunately. But now I come back and probably your top guy on the roster, and we've been praising last feels like 2 years and a half. Contract is up. We talked about the old regimes when you got guys that were showing up on shows as champions and their contract was up and you had to sign a new one at the last hour. Shout out to the glorious one, the other one. Um, and now this, like I don't know what's going on, but they need to get this together. Like I don't know if like he was supposed to get the championship back and they've been using that as a negotiating tool to be like, go ahead and sign, you'll get your moose match. Like I just like we talked about before. You lock talent like that down. You lock him down. You lock Mikey Speedball and the list of others that goes on. But it's like I don't know. They almost treating because we gonna be getting back to Ring of Honor what in April,
Mm-hmm.
and it feel like people are treating Impact like that now, like it's a stepping stone to other places.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Honor No More stable. I don't think they're all going back to Ring of Honor exclusively because no one's going to have any exclusive deals going forward.
Yeah.
So it's very likely all these cats are going to be in Impact long term. So we'll have to see how that plays out. As for Josh Alexander, like this is, I don't ever want to say the words huge blow to the roster ever again because they survived AJ Styles leaving in 2014. I love Josh. He's the best worker on the roster. They can survive it. It's not that huge. It's not that huge of a loss where like him leaving means the company's going under. It's not a good thing, but it's not also like the company doesn't have a smorgasbord of other talents. Granted, some of them are Matt Cardona, so like talent is very much a subjective term at the moment. But I feel like they could be all right as long as they make some right pivots. But doubling down on all these ex-WWE guys, like it's not so bad when they have name value. Like when they got Booker T, the African warlord himself, in my home country of Africa. I gotta find that episode of Impact. I am not having a Mandela effect moment. I know that happened. Just like I knew
Well,
Kevin Nash big booted a little person in a chair.
Well, I love how people tweeted him commentating his way into a match as a moment in Black history.
It is the first time a black announcer ever got himself into a match via the commentary table.
And was still commentating as he was in the ring. Oh, Booker T's in the match. Oh, he's thumbing him down. Oh.
I never want to hear that man criticize his run in Impact ever again because he was a delight. Sure, most of his matches were him half-assing, but all the non-match stuff was hilarious.
I'm like, all that stuff you did, all that hilarious comedy and stuff you got to do with the main event mafia, you got to have a lighter schedule, which allowed you to have, um, basically helped him get his twins.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I mean, I get it, but like, I don't get it.
Yeah, and then he stopped wrestling after that. Like he had like a couple more match. Like he's had like a match or two every year since, but like he didn't go back to the WWE full time after that. So like I don't know, what is it you were looking for, Book? Because you found it in Impact apparently because you were able to retire off that money. But I digress. I digress. The point being, Josh Alexander's in a situation where Impact could use him, but doesn't necessarily need him. And I don't want to, sit here and thumb my nose down at Alexander by any means. I think he's a fantastic worker. But I also want to sit here and point out that Alexander is someone that is part of the machine, so to speak. If the WWE can survive Stone Cold Steve Austin leaving 3 or 4 different times before he retired, then Impact can survive Alexander if he does end up leaving. But that's not a guarantee. He may re-sign with the company once his visa is worked out. It's just going to have to be a wait-and-see approach. Marcus, do you see him going to AEW if he does, in fact, opt to leave?
I mean, at this point, it's certainly a possibility with everything that we, gonna get off into with AEW. But like I said, man, it's a nice boat, but it's full already, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's more than
Um,
full.
so like I said, I know it looks attractive, but you just it's not everybody can go there and get the type of time, attention, and the necessary TV time that they need, even with what, 3 shows, something like that. So
4 shows.
you know, yeah, you're gonna need other options, and then going places like pass through Ring of Honor in April. Or MLW is on fire right now, and you got other places you can do. Obviously, we go
New
get into
Japan.
some yeah, New Japan, NWA stuff. It's places to go.
Mm-hmm.
I just at this point, I don't know who's trying to go to WWE. I don't know who's trying the way that they dump stuff off like it was like sour. They dump people like they were sour milk. I don't know who's trying to go there.
And they're signing people for lesser money, so the money's no longer as good. We're going to talk about Vince here in a little bit. I'm just waiting for the day when Brian Cage finally gets his AEW release and Impact starts playing the hype videos with that song. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home.
Absolutely. It'll be like I said. We talked about. It'll be huge if we see Joe pop back up, be a passer through or something like that, or some other names like Mia, because she
I think I have, yeah, we have Keith Lee on the docket. I don't know if it would make sense for Mia to go to AEW just to be with her husband, but we'll see how that ends up working itself out. Before we get to Keith Lee, we gotta talk about the man that he once faced in the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar. I don't have much in way of a conversation for this story, but I did not realize Brock Lesnar had so much personality, and it's kind of a damn shame that the WWE has never utilized this as well. Now, there was that brief period in like '03 where he was his own advocate. And he did some good promo work. He really did. You could tell he was uncomfortable at times, but you can tell he really did a good job in bits and pieces. There was definitely a lot there to work with. Now he seems like a natural. And like I like to call it off-brand Brock or off-Broadway Brock, where it's not just him being like a tight shaved head, muscle bound Jack Link's beef jerky or Jimmy John's sub endorsing, Mongoloid. The Vanilla Gorilla is retired. Now he's coming out with a ponytail. He's dancing with the boombox briefcase. He's dressing up like a Viking. He's growing
yeah.
his facial hair out, which I didn't know he was capable of doing. And now he's going on fucking podcasts and radio shows doing Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonations and doing them pretty damn
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, that was damn good. Like, oh hell yeah, like that was.
We got
It's
weasels,
he's literally
possums.
what,
What?
what,
What?
what? Like he's literally having fun. It kind of feels like after we finally, like that bird, and we got to see lift off Mark Calloway when he finally kind of got to put Undertaker to the side where he wasn't having to protect that character all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which was absurd at the stage of the game that he was. Um, and now he's doing interviews galore, getting off into other interests that he has at his particular age, and it's like he shouldn't have had to do that as long as he did. But I get it; he was literally one of the last of the bastions of that particular way of wrestling. So kudos to him. But it's like he seems like he's having more fun with the concept now. And then Brock, we talked about it, and no big fans of Orton here, but those two people when they are in the mood and they find on all cylinders, obviously Orton just naturally has less personality because he just doesn't have it. But Brock is a whole different story. I'm like always said, they pay him too much to book him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like he realized it. Like he said, I mean, they pay me. Like, what do they go do? Like, find me? Like, I'm just go out here and do what I want. Make fun of these schmucks. Go out there with the boombox. Go out there with the, looking like I just stepped out of a Taylor Sheridan project and go out there and do my thing. Like they can't rock with me. They're gonna give me the win. I'm the biggest star in the company. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I'm waiting for somebody to kind of ask him like, what's the difference now? Because you seem like you're on a completely different level than you've ever been in terms of actual enjoyment of this.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, it's just hilarious to watch. And when you showed me that clip, I'm like, this perfectly sums up this run that he's having. Like it perfectly sums it up.
Here's the end of Yellowstone. The end of Yellowstone, we'll see who's the main character. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Yeah,
Kevin Costner.
yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna see Kevin Costner staring out at the woods, and then you're gonna hear the Brock Lesnar music, din, din, and he's gonna come out and he's gonna destroy the fucking farmstead, and he's gonna kill every main character, and Kevin Costner's gonna be like, "Who are you?" And Brock's gonna look at him and go, "I'm goddamn Yellowstone, bitch," and then he stomps Kevin Costner's head, and that's how the show ends.
uh,
So there's more to this clip. I didn't tweet it at you, but so when he goes in to start the show, like he shakes everyone's hand and he sits down and he tries to adjust the microphone. And I don't know if McAfee was being sarcastic when he said that, but he's like, "Don't break the table." So Brock slams his arm on the table and he breaks it. And then you hear Brock goes, "What's this shit? What cheap ass kind of table is this?" And everyone's losing their shit because he actually broke the table. And it's this little tiny thing too. Oh, it was funny. Oh, Brock, and Brock's throwing Wee Man through tables and shit. Like,
yeah, having fun with Jackass. I feel like this is just something we wouldn't have got years ago.
but we're also getting
But
stories like Gable Stevens is talking about like all the advice Brock has given him, and B-Fab, is that his name? The big bulkier rapper dude from Hit Row. Was that who that was? Was that B-Fab?
I think the girl was B-Fab. His
Okay.
name is
He had
Top
the
Dollar.
Top Dollar.
Top Dollar.
Yeah, he had the beanie on all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. He tells a story about, he walked up to Brock and he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And Brock was super chill with him. And he's like, "Hey, man, how are you?" And I'm like, who is this Brock Lesnar? Who is this? I love it. Oh, I adore it so much. So, yeah. Brock Lesnar, Apex comedian. New gimmick.
Yeah, he literally came out there and saved that segment because as much as as cool as it is to see Lashley with the title again, aka Blurby for a nerd quote, um,
Barbie.
listeners, he is hit or miss on the mic, and tonight he was miss. So when Brock came out there and literally hung his coat and his cap on Austin Theory, and
I
then
didn't I didn't
proceeded to
s- I didn't see the skip, but I don't have one good memory of a Bobby Lashley promo.
it was bad. It was plotting. It was like, dude, you just no, just like Montel's right there. He's right there. You got MVP right there. Don't. Oh man.
He could do the easiest fucking gimmick, and it was the one that I kind of suggested a while back, before Jackson Riker was full on, being maggot and all. When he was in TNA, they were building up to this feud with Gunner and Nick Aldis, and I kind of pitched this idea of having Rockstar Spud be Aldis's promo guy, and Aldis vowing never to talk again on American soil. And it would lead up to a I Quit match between Gunner and Aldis, where Aldis would finally have to say words on American soil, and it would be like a year-long program. Do that with Lashley. Be like, I am not going to speak again in front of these lesser WWE fans. I only want to be around the high-class hoity-toityest of the hoity-toity. And MVP will be doing all my conversations until then. And boom, you now have a reason for Lashley never to speak. And he needs it. He is bad. He has always been bad on the mic. As good as he is in the ring, and he might be an all-time great, although I feel like he doesn't have as many 5-star matches as you need to be an all-time great. But I feel like he's on that cusp. He's in the conversational cusp. But as good as he is in the ring, he's as bad outside of it on the mic. Great guy.
Yeah, he's
Lovely human
yeah,
being.
great. Yeah,
Terrible
he's
talker.
great guy, great story, great all that. Great representative for any company. It felt like he found a happy medium of almost like a Brock-ish. type of deal when he was like in Impact and like had all the titles and was having that epic run he had.
Yeah,
Um,
but who was his manager in Impact?
oh yeah, again. Yeah, and he had a little bit when he was doing stuff on his own too, but it's like this is not good. I'm like I would have preferred AJ
Oh
having to talk
no!
most of that segment.
Talk about a terrible promo. I think Dan Lambert should just do promo work for every pro wrestler that can't talk.
Hilarious, dude. It's like Chad's number one promo pickers are Dan Lambert and Dan Housen. That's it. Not talking anywhere else.
Could you imagine Danhausen interviewing Brock Lesnar? I am Danhausen, here with the Brockhausen. You
Yeah, and
like
I
to
sit back
slam
and watch
people. That's very
like
nice.
his
But
last
very evil.
his latest promo from AEW. Like I don't get what he's saying, but his voice is hilarious. He kind of shrivels his neck up and with his hands, kind of like.
Yeah, he looks like it's that Nosferatu hand thing. And like
Yeah,
he hunches his shoulder like he's like he looks like a 1930s 1940s horror movie villain, and like that's his whole shtick. That's why he's very nice but very evil. I just love him so much. Oh, he's such a character, and we need more characters like that. You know what we need less of though? Matt Cardona. Fucking hell.
mid Cardona.
I've never
Oh,
disliked an Italian pro wrestlers as much as I dislike Matt Cardona. Like Taz. I prefer Taz over Matt Cardona. And I don't mean in the ring Peterson urchin dropping fools, with his Taz plexes fucking circa 1998. No. I'm talking like now Taz. The terrible on commentary and doesn't even try to be good anymore. That's how much I prefer that Taz over Matt Cardona. And I don't know what it is. He's not very creative in the ring, very boring to me, and his personality just isn't that good. But I like that he's steering into the fact that everyone dislikes his fucking personality. So like he may actually get over as a heel, but also Brian Myers is trying to do the same thing, and I still don't fucking like him.
like you suck. You've always sucked. Your suck-to-two test scores are high. Face the facts. Like that's how we are with it. Like, and I appreciate what Matt's done since getting shoveled
Yeah, it's
by
impressive.
yeah, it's impressive and even personally it's impressive. We don't like his girl either, but it's impressive.
I mean,
Um,
hey, he wants to date Magikarp. That's all. That's on him. Date
ah,
Magikarp.
Magic Carp. Oh, like damn it, he don't even know flail. I gotta throw him back.
Magikarp flop. Oh my god, that's just. Oh no, I can't say anything more. I need to. I need to send it to you.
Don't even know flail. That's basic. But yeah, I mean, and I was telling somebody else this too. Like he still, and Chelsea does this too, and a little bit Mickey, depending on the scenario. They still kind of wrestle like a WWE style,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of need to do these moves in succession and hit these same kind of very easily telegraphable spots, and it's like I don't know, man. Like I get you're more aggressive, but your moves still don't have the impact that they need to for me to match it. So it's like I think he won that digital championship, which I guess makes sense. You went from the an actual internet champion to a digital media champion, and now he has another title. But yeah, as long as he kind of stay away from the impact title, I'm
He's
fine
gonna
with it.
win it. He's going to. Like it's gonna happen, and it's so damn disappointing.
One, absolutely. Two, proud of you
Thank you.
for holding for the chat.
Thank you. I know there are things that I just shouldn't say out loud anymore. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna say them at all.
Oh, you're not gonna expect us to go through all this speaking out stuff and not learn something.
Oh yes, we've learned. Be very careful who you text things to. Uh, I feel like Reno from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Ah, she's cool. Wait. No, she's not. So yeah, if he wins the Impact World Title, I may just be done for a while. I'll stop watching Impact. There's too much other good wrestling on for me to devote my time to a company that employs Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green.
Yeah, I mean, you already said MLW is probably your top, and rightfully so. They seem like they're doing all the right things consistently.
So I can't
And
believe
getting,
I forgot to put this on the run sheet. They finally did the heel turn that I've been waiting for, and it was fucking brilliant because it came a little bit sooner than expected. They broke up the dynasty, which was originally MJF, Richard Holiday, and Alexander Hammerstone. Then MJF left, and it was Hammerstone and Holiday. And Hammerstone's full-blown face now. And Holiday's was a tweener for a while. And like he's been helping out Hammer, in his battle against Dario Cueto. I forget whatever name he's going by in MLW. And this episode of MLW Fusion, Hammerstone defeats Pagano. I think it was Pagano in like a hardcore world title fight. And at the end of the match, Alexander Hammerstone beats Pagano, and then Holiday comes out to help him and like fends off all of Cueto's masked soldiers, and then fucking. Holiday's girlfriend, Alicia Toot, comes in and low blows Hammerstone, and then Holiday starts kicking him in the face. I'm like, what? What? Now? Oh. And like they were slow burning it, for sure, but they were throwing in enough stuff like, Hammerstone got abducted, and it was Holiday who found him. It was Holiday who was looking for him. It was Holiday who fought to get him out. So like they're throwing in all these little things to make you think like, yeah, it's coming. It's not coming now. So I was like genuinely surprised. I'm like, what? Now? What? What? So it was really, really fucking good. And like Hammerstone's gimmick is like 1980s Hulk Hogan minus the subtle racism. And Holiday's gimmick is like Ted DiBiase minus the my children are all criminals. So it's great to see MLW kind of tapping into the 1980s vein with these modern updates. And it's fucking working, man. I'm here for it.
And also with the story you just told, I'm just sitting back like, ironically enough, talking about and the storyline involved Dario Cueto. I'm just sitting back like, God, I miss Lucha Underground because they used to thread stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But
like, yeah,
they got like half the crew back. So like MLW as Tech Underground.
Yes, they have we had any Katrina sightings?
Yes, although she's rocking the short hair nowadays, and that ain't my vibe, but she's there. She's there. She's working with Cueto, and they're building their empire together. And like she's like deliberately said like we're bringing in Mil Muertes, who's now known as King Muertes. Like if we bring him in, like hell comes with him. You need to be ready for that, Dario. He doesn't go by Dario, and I forget what he goes by now. But it's very, and like they shoot all of their segments very Lucha Underground-y. So like there's definitely a different vibe between like regular MLW stuff and then their stuff. So I think you would enjoy it. I really do. So yeah, it was on the rundown sheet, but yeah, it was a hell of a moment in this week's wrestling. So speaking of this week's wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's going to be part of the Crockett Cup. He's going to be an ambassador. We also know that Zack Ryder will be involved, and apparently the British Invasion will be teaming up to try to win the Crockett Cup. The Crockett Cup is a tag team tournament. And I love the fact that Doug Williams at 48 or 49 or whatever it is getting back in the ring with Nick Aldous. Now, this isn't their first tag team bout under the NWA banner. I think they've done a match or two before. But to see them doing this Crockett Cup thing is like really hammering home the face turn for Nick Aldis. So you're gonna have Aldis versus Zack Ryder down the block eventually, probably with Jeff Jarrett involved somehow. Marcus, the NWA has kind of had an issue with developing main event scenes that the mainstream audience would want to watch. Nick Aldis versus Zack Ryder, is that the feud to make for the NWA in your opinion?
Not me, because I've never been superbly over the moon. With Magnus, I've had, kind of in and out spurts where I'm like, okay, he's really good here. And obviously, he's been the most consistent thing with the NWA.
He's the Matthew Stafford of the NWA.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's really good. Other times, he's really not.
And Cardona, like I said, Cardona has made some good strides, but it's just not I just don't care enough to be like, oh, I can't wait to see like this must see match. Like Aldous already wrestles a specific kind of style. Like I said, Cardona is kind of he still leans more towards like WWE stuff, even if he has up the aggression of it all. Um, there's no room in my mind where it's like, okay, this might be like a damn near a technical feast. It's not gonna be a technical feast.
Mm-mm.
Um, but it might get the buzz to your point about just the buzz he's building around himself as the a-hole to see right now. That's going around having a bunch of success nobody wants him to have in places he shouldn't even be able to be in. In a lot of people's minds, that might get the buzz that's necessary because we've seen stuff catch on in wrestling with far less intent to start off with, So
So little breaking-ish rumor news. The WWE is attempting to bring back Stone Cold Steve Austin for a wrestling match. Not to be involved in a match, mind you, but to actually compete in a wrestling match at WrestleMania 38. Stone Cold is 57. Now, I admit that Sting at 61, I still enjoy. Still like him. Big old difference, though. Sting has pretty much never stopped wrestling. For 40 years, he's wrestled. Stone Cold has been retired for 20 years. Hasn't come back for anything. Why would he come back now? But Paige can't come back because of her neck. Stone Cold retires. Dude, did you, Marcus, how much do you know about the last match of Stone Cold Steve Austin's career?
not a lot.
Do you know that he nearly died 12 hours prior?
No.
He suffered a cardiac event the night before, and Jim Ross rushed him to the hospital where he had like a heart rate of like 145, 150. He didn't get any sleep. He was on all sorts of shit to keep his heart rate low. He went into the WrestleMania match with 2 bad knees, a bad neck, and a bad back, and a bad heart. Dude nearly died. And they want to bring him back? Now, granted, Stone Cold dyes his beard, or his goatee. So, like, he does not look like he's aged today in 20 years. But that body sure as fuck has. Like, what? I don't distrust Sean Ross Sapp's reporting. I think his opinions are stupid. But then again, I think a lot of people's opinions are stupid. It's like, whatever. But I have a hard time believing that this is a serious conversation because why the fuck would you risk that? He's 57 and has a history of significant and serious health issues. What are we doing here, folks? Are we that desperate? And of course we're that desperate because one of the stories coming up is the fact that WrestleMania's not fucking selling. But we're going to get to that. So, Marcus, put a pin in the Stone Cold comments because I forgot we have the WrestleMania ticket sales on the horizon. So let's get to names that the WWE has recently released because we'll come back. Keith Lee showed up on AEW, much to the amazement of everyone in attendance, and then Jay White showed up as well, doing his I'm in America tour. That's pretty much what it is. I guarantee you he's going to pop up in Ring of Honor at some point, maybe even at MLW because he's hitting all the mid majors, like he's going all of them. Keith Lee's debut, I thought, was a little bit of a, I still don't get Keith Lee. Admittedly, I know everyone is over the moon about him, to the point where like every British YouTube channel makes like sexual innuendos about how they just want to be with him sexually, and I don't get it. Marcus, I don't get it, but it's fine. I don't need to get it. People like him though. I thought his match with the dude from the Matt. Well, I'm not even going to try to remember the new name of that Matt Hardy group is called because it's like got 36 new letters and Andrade's in charge of it. Like, dumb. But they beat up the one dude who was in Impact for a little spell with VIP or Private Party. Private Party, that's what it was. And it was like a 7-8 minute match, which I guess is fine, but also why is Keith Lee struggling with a dude 200 pounds lighter than him? I don't know. Marcus, you're a Keith Lee fan, yes?
Yeah, I've grown to be more of a Keith Lee fan through his time at NXT. It was cool to see him. It's cool to see him healthy. Obviously, I mean, he was because last time we saw him, WWE was doing the Bearcat crap.
That's
Um,
a great gimmick name, but it didn't need to be for him, right?
yeah, he didn't really need. I mean, most of the people that come up don't really need no change. Ricochet didn't need the pew pew pew, and his interest in all that mess. And
Pew pew pew. If it was like a little 5-year-old going pew pew pew, I would have liked it more. Like just some 5-year-old at the start of Ricochet's music going pew pew pew. Like, oh, that'd been great. Nope, gotta ruin it. Gotta ruin it.
can't have nice things. But yeah, like I said, it was cool to see him. They got him with some decent entrance music. I tell you that. Because they messed that up for him too, uh, as they did many others. But yeah, he hasn't necessarily moved me yet. Like they got to get him off into like a hot feud or something like that. And like I said, those names are starting to add up. Um, because we got a lot of guest stars that be poking in, and sometimes they sign, and sometimes they just passing through. But it was cool to see him. Like I said, looks in top form, but we got to see what's gonna happen because it's the potential for a lot of these guys who, a lot of people geeked up to see to go the way of Brian Cage, who I see for some reason trending every other day on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The potential is there. I don't know how high it is, but it's definitely there.
They screwed the pooch with Brian Cage. I hope they don't screw the pooch with Keith Lee. One of the big criticisms with AEW is their lack of top tier male black talent in the singles division. And if Keith Lee doesn't get a nice push, that negative reaction to their race baited booking, not race baiting, but based on race, is only going to get louder. But I think the interesting thing is some of the criticisms I see about AEW, I don't even think are well founded. Like people are upset about Adam Cole's booking, but he's arguably in the top, feud on the show. Like as much as like Hangman Adam Page is like the champion, it's very much the Adam Cole Young Bucks and Red Dragon show. So I don't know. Like even if Keith Lee gets booked well, I don't think that'll save the company from being criticized. I don't know what they're gonna do with Keith Lee. I feel like Keith Lee is kind of in a weird spot because he's not really a character. Like there's no gimmick. He's what's his name? In the Infinite Keith Lee.
Yeah, Limitless.
Limitless Keith Lee, and he's got the infinity symbol. But like, who is he? What's your shtick? Like the reason I love Danhausen so much is he's just a character. He's over the top. And Brock Lesnar even said this on this little interview with Pat McAfee. The only thing you need to do as a wrestler is get over. And granted, Keith Lee's over, but I don't know why he's over. Like he's fine in the ring. He's not great. He's fine. He's not a great promo. He doesn't have a great look. I don't get it. Like you look at like Powerhouse Hobbs. Like that dude has a great look, great style. Maybe he's not the greatest in the ring, but like he doesn't need to be. Like he's Batista. Give him a 3-minute squash match and let him, throw around a 160-pound dork, and he's gonna look like a stud. But then you have Keith Lee, and I'm still trying. I don't know. Like I don't know. But then again, this isn't the first time I've been perplexed by some of these cats getting over. Like Ty Dillinger got over, and I was pulling my hair out, going, "Why do you like him? All he does is flash 8 fingers, 2 thumbs. Why do you like him? I don't get it." And he still has a job, and I don't know why. He's the chairman of AEW, but like he was never known for using a chair before. What? I don't know, man. Some people like just the strangest shit. Then again, I like Danhausen. It's like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be talking.
Dude, Chad, like it's all subjective, but
It's all subjective, but you fucking idiots.
dummies, yeah.
Dummies. Speaking of fucking, like, what are they doing with LA Knight? Eli Drake. It's in the game.
It's weird. He's caught in that weird spot of not being the old guard, but not coming in late enough to be a part of the new guard.
Well, he's almost 40. Like, I don't know exactly how young they think he is. Maybe he's like lying on his applications. Like, so Sean Ricker, how old are you? 29. Sure about that? That's what it says in my application. Oh, Marcus, I don't know. What is it about Keith Lee that people like that I'm not saying?
It's another one of those. Everybody likes to see like the Mack trucks that can move like a Honda or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like a Ferrari. And that's that whole thing. And also the narratives coming out of WWE, coming from WWE to AEW to essentially thrive and whatnot. And while that is a thing, and they never miss an opportunity to take a shot. Um, that's only going to last so long before it's like, okay, what are you doing with this cat? So like I said, we'll see. I get it. Obviously, he's tremendously talented. But they got a roster of tremendously talented people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like again, every week I watch this show, I don't care about everything. Like MJF is consistently primarily featured. I don't care though. It's cool to see what Punk's doing, and I kind of feel like MJF just attached on. They're finally doing a storyline where Ortiz and Santana are like, okay, Jericho, we're taking our head out of your ass so we could do our own thing, and now they're gonna be beefing with him.
It only took him 3 years to do something with him.
Exactly. That's how many years too late because the narrative of the inner circle or Jericho's theme song being sung was more important. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. Sting is kind of playing, I mean it's not too much I want to see them do with Sting because again I don't need to see him get into too many tussles.
That's where you and I differ. World Champion 2022. Make it happen.
Because the minute I see him in a power bomb position, I'm like, no, cut it, no, cut the lights, put the damn, put the what was the name of the guy? Put the Sin Cara lights on. Get him out of there.
Oh,
Like,
no.
put the Sin Cara lights
They,
on.
they just wrap like giant bubble wrap around all the corners whenever he comes out.
Like the only bumps I want to see Sting take on the moves that he's executing.
Oh, God. I hope Keith Lee finds that thing that makes me a fan of his. Because, like, all right. But he's also 37, 38. Like, he's not exactly young. And, like, I saw him wrestle on Dynamite. And I was like, he's not really that athletic. Like, you can tell a lot of what he used to do, he won't be able to do for much longer. And I'm scared that, like, this dude's going to hurt himself because, like, he's 330 plus pounds easily. And the stuff he does is not made for people his size. And it's going to go bad. It's going to go bad real bad soon enough. Like, there's a reason why Mark Henry didn't try to jump over the top rope. Mark Henry knew his limitations. So, I don't know. Here's hoping Keith Lee can win me over. I've been won over before. Granted, I've been won over before. It's very few and far between. But I've been won over before. So, did you know that Stone Cold Steve Austin has been married 4 times?
I can believe it. I feel like we've only known about obviously his one wife and then
Deborah.
I think Deborah, and then he vaguely mentioned sometimes that he's married now, so it's only felt like 2. Before that tracks. For a wrestler anyway.
and shockingly enough, they've all been blonde.
What?
What? What? I like them blonde. What? I like them blue-eyed. What? I like them busty. What?
But more importantly, I like them thirsty.
What? You know that Kurt just has like a bunch of like, he's like, yeah, I'm married to an Italian chick and I married Kurt, but like all of his like Pornhub views are like interracial white dude on black chick because Kurt's just weird like that. He's just obsessed and transfixed on that one thing.
No, you're better than that. He got that room like Lex had in Smallville with the videos.
It's just Charmel. Charmel and goddamn, I was about to say Shaniqua.
Charmel, Raka Khan, and like various women in wrestling we haven't come to know yet that he's scouting.
And they're all just like black and beautiful and like slightly shorter than him, but also taller than most other men. It's like a very specific type. I wouldn't be surprised if he was flirting with Shaniqua. Do you remember her? She was the Basham's manager for like 6 months.
Oh wow,
Linda
that's
Miles,
big.
I think was her real name.
I'm trying to pull a face in my mind, but yeah, that was a thing. The
Mm-hmm.
bashing.
And they're all like dominatrix and shit. Oof. That was a gimmick. That was a gimmick. All right. So yeah. Jay White. I'm kind of warming up to Jay White. He's still got the fetus face, but I like the fact that he's doing all this other shit, and he kind of feels like the wannabe bad boy who's taking advantage of the fact that like all of the other kids' parents told him like you can't hit him. So Jay White's now antagonizing everyone because he knows he's not going to lose. So like I don't think he's like a tough guy at all, but also I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, he's the bully, anti-bully. He's definitely like a really good shit star.
He's he's Flash Thompson from the new Spider-Man franchise. Like you know he's not gonna beat you up, but he's still gonna be a dick about it. Speaking of being a dick about things, Vince McMahon does not want to change how things are running because he's making $1 billion a year. So clearly, how he's doing things is the right way. Shocker. But, and this big but, WrestleMania ain't selling. They have a 2-for-1 ticket price. Marcus, cheap seats in the Super Bowl were like $12,000. They didn't need to do a buy one, get one. And this is in LA. People don't fucking like want to live in LA anymore. It's overpopulated, it's smoggy, everything's way too damn high. Everyone's moving to Texas. Austin's going to turn in the same fucking way as LA. Give it time. That's why I'm just chilling up here in Cleveland going, yeah, you guys just do your thing. We're the medical capital of the country. We're good. We're sitting here fancy free and whatever that saying is. But they're not fucking selling out 2-for-1, 3-for-1 tickets in LA for the Super Bowl. WrestleMania down in Texas, I think that's where it is. 2-for-1. Gotta be honest. That ain't a good sign for things. Now Vince is sitting here saying, he's not saying it, but people are saying it for him. That if I'm making $1 billion a year, why the fuck do I need to change anything? And that's fair. But also, this is the bubble. You are growing your bubble so much, and you are putting air into this bubble that you think that it will never pop, that it will never burst, that it will never be anything but this huge, glamorous, bubble-sized bubble. But eventually, where there's a will, there's a way. And you will one day lose your bubble. It will pop. And you know what's going to happen to all that air or liquid or whatever the fuck you're filling it up with? It's all going to come crashing down on you. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, right now, they're kind of in a sweet spot because Peacock lost $1 billion. Not great. But Peacock also had huge numbers from the WWE. So they're very prone and more than likely going to keep shelling out the money for the WWE's pay-per-view and content library. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with USA Network and Fox when the ratings keep going down. Now, Fox's ratings as a whole are actually up, but the WWE's ratings on Fox fluctuate all the time. You have to wonder how much they're going to put up with that. Have to wonder if Fox is going to want Raw. So there's a lot of things going on that's going to affect this bubble. And if the bubble does burst, then all of a sudden this money that Vince thought was never going to end is going to end. And trust me, it happens all the time. There's no such thing as too big to fail. Eventually it will. It's only a matter of time. Everything falls. Amazon one day will fall. Look at Apple. Remember when they were the toast of the tech town? Apple no longer has that same type of mystique about it. It's gone. WWE's going to go the same way. It's just a matter of when. Now, I still think that they're doing all this to sell. They're going to sell the company one day. But for now, it's not looking good that they're selling their tickets 2-for-1. And this is where Stone Cold comes back into play. Bringing it back. I think they're trying to get Stone Cold for WrestleMania 38 because they know they're not selling tickets. And I think they're going to throw a heaping amount of money at Stone Cold to try to get him to come back. But he's never come back before. I'm sure they asked him to do the Blood Money pay-per-views. I'm sure they've asked him to do past WrestleManias. There was always a rumor that they wanted him to do a CM Punk feud, or maybe that was just fans willing that into existence. But I don't see this WrestleMania going in a good way. And to further hyper focus on the issues at hand, Marcus, is that most of the top matches aren't even set in stone yet. We're a month and a half out. Usually we were set for WrestleMania by the end of November. You know, we're 7 weeks away, 8 weeks away, and we still don't have a damn idea what we're gonna have. Like, we don't even know who Brock's gonna face because we know Brock's going there. You know, we don't know who even won the Royal Rumble. Did Brock win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
I already forgot. We know Becky's gonna take on. Well,
Ronda.
we know. Yeah, no, isn't Charlotte taking on Ronda?
Yeah, you're right. Charlotte's gonna get Ronda, and right now,
I think Becky's kind
yeah,
of penciled in for Bianca.
yeah,
That's like
yeah,
the
that's,
loose rumor, but we don't even know if that's for sure.
yeah, because of the chamber. Yeah, but right now she's penciled in with Lita, and again because like you said, I mean, look at the landscape. How many stars do you have that's actually relevant besides Roman, Brock, um,
Ronda.
Ronda, Charlotte, depending on the narrative. Um, Becky may still have some momentum. But
That's
other than
really
that,
it.
you're bringing in past guys. You know, Goldberg is probably his last match for a while, if not for good. And
Until
like you
AEW
said, they
signs them, and I start watching AEW religiously.
exactly, and I feel like they're not getting the Rock no time soon. Specifically after that damn Black Adam promo he dropped. Um, so that's all they got. And the only thing that's worse than one night of a lane WrestleMania card is splitting it into two, which a lot of people are up on now. So it's like people like you need to leave that kind of stuff to New Japan because they can afford to do it and make actually concise, consistent, great narratives across 2 nights of a show. Y'all barely getting the card together for one night. So
I don't think New Japan can keep doing 2 night shows. I think they're too depleted roster wise. Maybe that's only because of the pandemic.
yeah,
Because so many of their top stars can't even get into Japan at the moment. But like the last 2 years of New Japan Wrestle Kingdoms have not been up to my standards. That said, it's still better than WrestleMania. So, Marcus, is the end times nigh for the WWE?
hard to say. I mean, every time we had this conversation like that, it always comes back to, I feel like in everything we ever talk about, specifically looking at all the cape crap that you see on Twitter with these comic book films, regardless of whether it's good, bad, and different, people just like what they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And for so many people, WWE is what they used to, both inside, outside the industry, and what have you. So, and that's really what's been the long running narrative, even outside of a financial conversation, is that's kind of what they used to. So even if it on the outside it looks like it's gonna be the end of the road, it's like the faithful are gonna be the faithful, even if they're begrudgingly faithful. Um, but I will say they have committed to doing a really good job of breaking the faith of both talent and fan um, when it comes to believing in them as a company. So I feel like you said it's still up in the air. I do think there are more stronger beliefs, uh, a stronger foundation towards them wanting to sell just because of everything we see happening with everything with the streaming and everything. And I think Discovery's about to do a merge with HBO or whatever, or Warner's or whatever. So a lot of stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
and Disney is a thing. And at the end of the day, if the narrative is, budget cuts with everything they've gone through, then a sale would make sense. And for a lot of people, I don't think they might have seen years ago Vince cutting himself off at the knees with the pay-per-view thing to go into a streamer service that ultimately didn't do what they wanted to do to then get picked up. So I think it's, anything's whatever's clever at this point, you know.
Well, they certainly have enough money to send Mustafa Ali home for 2.5 years. Apparently, he's going to
Oh,
sit out
that's
his
how long.
contract.
Jesus Christ.
It's going to be interesting. All right. Anything else catch your eye in the Wrestleverse that you want to talk about?
What did you tell me to hold out for? Was it the Stone Cold thing?
Yeah.
Was it the? Yeah, we
This is
talked about that.
something.
So yeah. So no, that was pretty much it. Nobody, retired again this week. Nothing like that. Uh,
Not yet, anyway.
yeah. But yeah. I guess to your point about if Impact keeps treading along like they tread along and put the title on Cardona, you can just quit and fully watch or put all your energy in MLW. I can start consistently watching MLW. And essentially, we all should just migrate over to the Jordan's Twitter anyway. I think that's be the healthiest option.
Yeah.
Um, for us all. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. I guess the Chambers this weekend, but I mean, ain't no point in really going over that. So
Yeah. Here's who's gonna win. I don't care. That's it. That's it. I don't care. All right, so we'll be back next Monday for another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at NERDCORP, on Instagram, and fuck that. Marcus, you're on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
that's the kid.
You can find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, over on Twitter at True Penny Show, TruePennyShow. I'm on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, CHADNERDCORP, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. Marcus, take us home.
Good night.